Live from Lagos, Nigeria, this is Lunchtime Politics. I'm Jeffrey Uzoma. Let's bring you up to speed with the big happenings in politics and in the polity at midday. Let's get started with the headlines. He's back. President Bola Tinubu returns to the nation's capital, Abuja, after a two-day nation working tour to Japan and Brazil. They're signing bilateral agreements to promote business and diplomatic ties. APC National Organizing Secretary dismisses claims that the party is shutting out other presidential contenders after it endorsed President Bola Tinubu for a second term during its national summit. Immediate past governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, dismisses claims that he intends to run for office of president in 2027. Thanks again for joining us on the program. We'll give you all access pass to what's happening in the polity and in politics, and there's a lot going on. But let's get started with the return of the president following his two-day nation trip to Japan and Brazil. The president, who left the country on Friday, arrived at Anambra International Airport at about 1:20 a.m. this morning. He was received by a delegation led by the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barau Jibrin, governors of Plateau, Kwara, and Imo states, the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and other government officials. During the trip, the President had attended the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, known as TICAD, in the city of Yokohama, Japan. He also paid a state visit to the Republic of Brazil, where he was accorded an official welcoming ceremony with full military honors, and several memoranda of understanding and agreement were signed between Nigeria and Brazil. All right, ahead of the 2027 general elections, the All Progressives Congress has dismissed speculations that it plans to print a single presidential nomination form exclusively for the president, thereby shutting out their other party members from contesting the ticket. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja on the outcome of the recent by-elections, the APC National Organizing Secretary, Sulaiman Agungo, clarified that although both the National Working Committee and several state chapters have endorsed the president as their preferred candidate, the nomination process remains open to all interested aspirants.
By the grace of Allah Almighty and through the commitment of our leaders, members of and the supporters of our party nationwide, the All Progressive Congress emerged victorious in 13 constituencies out of the 16 constituencies that were contested. You see, there is no dictation or dictatorship in democracy, but the aspiration of the people will be the wish of the party. And it is the wish of the party. We, as leaders of the party today, the NWC, have endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, as the next presidential candidate of the party. And by extension, other organs have done similar thing. Governors in most of the states, zones in most of the 6 political zones have also adopted the same. But that does not mean that the door is closed. That does not mean that when time comes, like we did always, we'll make our timetable known so that for anybody who wants to aspire to be the next president of this country, under the platform of All Progressive Congress, we will not deny him that opportunity to come and purchase form. We will allow him to come and pay so that he can exercise his franchise as a member of the All Progressive Congress.
All right, that's the National Organizing Secretary of the party, the All Progressives Congress. Now, we're not done with the issues around the All Progressives Congress. That's at the national level, but let's get to the sub-national level, where the leadership crisis rocking the party in Rivers State has once again spilled into the courts. this time over who gets to sponsor candidates for the local government elections on August the 30th, which is just a few hours away, 48 hours, I must say. The faction loyal to Emeka Bekee, who won the court case in the chairmanship tussle, has filed a lawsuit against the River State Independent Electoral Commission, RISEC, and Mr. Tony Okocha, who is backed by the National Secretariat, claiming that only Bekee-led executives have the constitutional power to conduct primaries and submit candidates. The lead plaintiff, Awola Joybel Emine, the vice chairman of the Bekee-led executive, is suing on behalf of the entire committee elected in 2021. 23 other individuals joined the suit, each claiming to be the authentic chairmanship candidates of the party for the local government poll scheduled for August the 30th. That's about 48 hours, as I stated. The court has now given defendants 21 days to respond. So talking politics, count me out of any contest in the next general elections appears to be the message coming from the former governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, who says he will not be contesting for any political office in 2027. For him, his renewed involvement in politics is only to support credible leadership at all levels of government. Mr. El-Rufai made the clarification or declaration in Kaduna State during the reception of a new decampee from the People's Democratic Party, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, led by Aliyu Bello. The former governor said that this initial plan after leaving office in 2023 was to step back from partisan politics. However, recent developments, he noted, compelled him to return, not for any personal ambition, but to play a supportive role. Mr. El-Rufai also took a swipe at the present administration, stating that Nigerians do not need further explanation to recognize its shortcomings. Let's bring in my guests. We're still talking politics, but this time we're focusing on Anambra State. As you know, in November, Anambra State will be heading to the polls to decide who becomes the next governor of the state, whether Soludo, the current governor, will be re-elected or they want somebody else in charge of the affairs of their state. I've been joined on the program by the Labour Party governorship candidate in that election, Mr. George Moghalu. He joins us virtually today. Mr. Moghalu, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Geoffrey, for having me.
Do you think you're the man for the job, given what Soludo, the governor of the state, has done?
Is it has done or has claimed to have done? Oh, well, Geoffrey, I'm the man to beat. In very simple terms.
Okay, maybe you can expatiate before I throw in my next question. How are you the man to beat here?
Because people see me as a very credible candidate. People see me as a candidate that is people-centric, that has a program, a clearly outlined program for the benefit of our people. They see me as somebody they can trust. They see me as somebody that is dependable.
I believe that you would have done some performance audits of the present administration to see, okay, they've done this, they've done that, or they've not done this, they've not done that. So my next question will be, what are the failures of Governor Soludo as the governor of the state on the platform of APGA that you think necessitated you to throw your hat in the ring to say, no, this man is not good enough. I should be the guy to do this job the next 4 years?
No, being honest with you, if I sit down before you and say they have not done anything, then I will be wrong. But they have not done good enough. If you see, I've tried in few instances to use an analogy to explain my position. And I've always said, in a room that is pitch dark, if you bring in candle light, you have brought illumination. If you bring 20-watt bulb, you have brought illumination. If you bring 40-watt bulb, you have brought illumination. If you upgrade it to 60, you have also brought illumination. If you bring in floodlight, you have brought illumination. The question is, what level of illumination are you looking for in terms of governance, in terms of performance? I have said it repeatedly, that our people have lost faith in their government. People don't see government as trustworthy anymore. People don't see government as what they can invest in. People don't see government as what they can believe or what they can trust. People see every politician now as one of them. who they cannot trust, who cannot be depended upon, who cannot be relied upon, who is dishonest, who does not have their interest at heart, and things like that. So for me, for us to change this narrative, which is very, very critical, we must present the people with good governance. We must get the people involved in their government. We must carry them along. We must run a transparent government. We must be honest and sincere in all our dealings. We must be open. We must involve the people so that they can participate in their government. And the moment you are able to get them to win their confidence, to have confidence in their government, to trust their government, things becomes quite a lot easier. They will now be able to do the things you want them to do. They will pay their taxes. They will contribute to the development of government. They will do everything to support government. You will not need to use task force. You will not need to use pestle. Our people call it akodo, to beat people, to get them to pay legitimate levies and things like that. So I believe that, yes, they have done their best, but their best is not good enough. They have failed us in the issue of security. They have failed us in the issue of our education. They have failed us in the issue of agriculture. Our health sector is not commendable. So there's quite a lot of areas they have failed. What we need to do in these areas is to develop them, put out a workable blueprint, put out a plan that can be easily executed so that we can actualize the desire of the people. If the truth is that people is the reason, the driving force behind every effort, behind our intention to serve, then we must be able to look at the people's interest and see to what extent we can carry it along. But as for today, they have not done much.
You know, Mr. Chukwuma Soludo, the governor, has a solid background in economics. He was a governor of the central bank, and he understands numbers. So those are the things I would like you to interrogate as well, because whenever I have conversations with either the governor or the people who want to take their position, the first thing the average Nigerian wants to see is how you can make their lives better. And how you can make their lives better, I know we can start from security, but let me start from the next phase, which has to do with the economy. Now, if you look at the South is quite an enterprising region. I don't think anybody would debate with that. But when we look at the numbers that come from there, it doesn't properly represent in terms of that enterprise. I'm talking IGR in that sense. I'm talking about what is generated maybe to FAC in that sense. So I'm looking at data published by, I think, Budget. This is 2023, that he had grown the IGR of the state from 29.13 billion naira to 36.120 billion naira. But as great as that sounds, or fair as it sounds, the state is still highly dependent on FAC. Although FAC is federation money, that means all of us own the money, so we have to share. But there are also conversations around the viability of states, even outside FAC. So when you look at Anambra, for instance, give me an example of the things you think as a government, if you become governor, can be scaled to the point where astronomically, the numbers can do better than what it is doing today, beyond promises and, all of that.
All right, Geoffrey, while I agree with you that there's a slight improvement in our IGR, the point is that we don't need to compromise or mortgage the lives of our people on the altar of the IGR. Can it be justified anywhere in the world that you have to use akodo, you have to use pest to break people's leg in an attempt to get money from them? That is just unacceptable. It's a crude attitude, and it will not work under my watch. The point we're making here is that, yes, I agree with you that there is a need for us to improve on our IGR. But the point is that there are ways through which you can improve on this IGR. You can bring in technology, and then you improve on your IGR. And again, let me tell you, before you talk about economic growth, you must address the issue of insecurity. In a situation of massive insecurity, the economy cannot grow. I stand to be challenged. That is the situation we have found ourselves. Our security is collapsing on a daily basis. Every day in Anambra State, you either hear stories of killings, assassinations, kidnappings, and what have you. People can't go to the farms. So it's right that the issue of insecurity is affecting every aspect of our lives. It is therefore affecting every aspect of governance. You see, until we address and resolve the issue of insecurity, we cannot even talk about growing our economy. Because I don't see any sane person nowhere in the world will take his money or her money to come and invest in an environment that they consider insecure. The diaspora investment cannot come because a lot of them are complaining. I just came back from a tour of Europe and America. And the issue that is everybody's lip is, what do you do to address the issue of insecurity? Unless this is addressed, there is no way you can grow the economy. We can do better than we have done now, but we must address the issue of insecurity so that people can feel safe to invest, so that the economy can grow. People can make effort, people can go to their farms and farm and grow, because we cannot be an economy that is dependent on consumption instead of production. If our security is strong, our economy will grow, agricultural input will increase, we will now produce and sell within and outside our state. We can even get to a point where we can export. So we must address the issue of insecurity. I agree that there's need for us to improve on our IGR, but we want a situation, personally want a situation where the people will even help us to generate money. They will be willing to contribute to the development of the state. When they see the sincerity in government, they see the transparency, they see your commitment to deliver on promises made.
Mr. Moghalu, we're due for a break, but before we go on that break, I totally agree with what you talked about, security first. I highlighted that's supposed to be the first, and I'll come to the economy, but you haven't responded to my question on your plan to scale. But so that we posit this properly before we go on this break, there's a report that came out by SBM Intelligence showing what they call let me just use my own word, the economy of kidnapping. How over 2.something billion has been taken as ransom from people they've kidnapped. I've had my friend as well who was recently kidnapped. He spent about 50 days in kidnappers' den. And when you look at their mappings across the country by geopolitical zone, Anambra stands out that they've spent about 65.3 million naira to pay ransom in Anambra State after, I think, about a couple of kidnappings that happened. When we come back, I would like you to reel out, there's Agune Chamber, even though they got a bit of a flack recently, what plan you have to secure the people. But that question you'll respond in just a moment after this break. Join us again.
Thank you very much. I'm waiting.
Welcome back, Mr. George Moghalu, the Labour Party governorship candidate in the next governorship election in Anambra State, is my guest, talking about security and the economy. Mr. Moghalu, I did ask a question, but for the benefit of the audience, I was trying to ask you to give us clarity as to what you do differently from what Governor Chukwuma Soludo has done in terms of security for the state.
Yes, I have practically criticized a few days ago, if you remember. I called for the disbandment of Agune Chamber because of the embarrassment they have consistently caused every citizen of Anambra State. I'm sure government also is embarrassed. There are either cases of killings, cases of unguarded attacks, extortion, getting involved in issues that shouldn't concern them. And the most recent was the attack, the brutalization of the female corps member who is serving in Anambra State. You see, you can address our issue, our security challenge. I have said it repeatedly by too many means. For me, if I have the opportunity and the privilege of Anambra to serve them as governor, there are things that need to be done. And you must look at it from both the kinetic and non-kinetic perspectives. For example, I have no problem with a security organization because I said before, most states now are clamoring, oh, give us state police, give us state police. But you can achieve the purpose of wanting state police by one. Every community in Anambra State has a vigilante service. What we therefore need to do is to document this vigilante, train them, properly equip them, remunerate them properly, get them properly trained, and then arm them to be able to perform the responsibilities we assigned to them. If you do that, you would have already created a security outfit that is fit for purpose. I said, there is no community in Anambra State that don't have retired police, army, SSS personnel that you can get together for them to serve as a training ground. You use their knowledge, you benefit from their knowledge for the training of these vigilantes at the various states, various local governments and various communities. We have about 179 communities. If you have these units properly trained, educated, properly equipped, and then enumerated properly, they will now serve the basic the basic level of security provision in every of these communities. Then government will also go a step further by investing on intelligence gathering, because you need it to be able to nip these activities in the bud. Government will also go further. You see, every security agent, be the police, be the army, DSS that are posted in Anambra State, you must also look at their welfare. I have said it that, yes, without putting a burden on government, we will make sure we provide insurance, comprehensive insurance coverage for every policeman or every army man or every security personnel serving in Anambra State. That insurance coverage will provide for accommodation, provide for his family, provide for education, guarantee the education of his children, provide for empowerment of his wife in the event of death in the course of their service or injury that will incapacitate him from performing his activities. When you provide this interest in their welfare, I can guarantee you that these security men will put in their best because they know their interests are being protected. Why can't we invest on intelligence gathering? Why can't we invest on have a central control system where we will monitor the activities of bandits across the state? It's working in Enugu State. What is wrong with that? We have a central control system. We should have it. What is wrong with having our pickups?
All right, Mr. Great point you raised. Yes, I wanted to butt in so I can ask a few more questions before we wrap up because of time.
That's all right.
Yes, so basically, all of these things you're saying, I'm always looking at, when you say things, I always look at the money because it requires a lot of funding as well. Security is not cheap. It's expensive anywhere in the world. And I know that Anambra, for instance, in 2023, from the records I have available to me, I don't think Anambra generated up to 200 billion naira, both IGR and FAC. So, but we'll talk about the issue of money later. But let's talk about the politics itself. Are you ready with the level of war chest that APGA is bringing on board on one hand? So the president is clearly a friend to the governor. They've parleyed. The governor even visited the president the other day, having the president's symbol on his cap. So they have a sweet and good relationship. There is also the APC in the state that is bringing all it can to the table. Just the last by-election that happened in Anambra, Labour Party was not on the ballot because of internal issue. How do you want to navigate the politics itself?
Okay, you started by saying that the governor is a friend of the president. Who told you I'm the president's enemy? I'm also the president's friend. I also have a good relationship with the president, so that for me is not an issue. As to war chest, fine. I have even advised in Anambra, if anybody gives you money, collect it, but vote your conscience. Because it may be your money that is being shared. So if they share it, collect it, but vote your conscience. Let them bring out their war chest. We are going to the market to sell ourselves to the people. The people know that there's no amount of money you will collect on November 8th that will equate 4 years. So it will be a very big gamble for you to now for 20,000 or 30,000 or 10,000, mortgage your entire conscience, mortgage your family, mortgage your future for the next 4 years. So Anambra people, I think, and I believe very strongly, are more civilized than this, and they are going to show that they are more civilized.
Mr. Moghalu, I'm going to stay on the question of the politics, and I'll reference the last election that happened in, I think, Ondo State. The Labour Party was performed abysmally. It was a terrible performance, both at even Edo State. A Labour Party in Ondo was the worst.
Which state was that? Which state was that?
Ondo governorship election.
Ondo,
In fact, the candidates, Disani, between El-Rufai, they keep changing positions in court and all of that. Eventually, El-Rufai was on the ballot, and I don't think it scored up to 5,000 votes at the end of the day. Why I'm saying this is that the Labour Party is still a divided house. You need united front to be able to convert to get vote from the people. Are you not worried about that?
No, let me correct one impression. Divided house or no divided house is not in Anambra State. Anambra State Labour is one family. Anambra State Labour is united, and we are pursuing a common goal and common objective. However, that does not rule out the fact that opponents or people who are threatened by the acceptability of Labour Party in Anambra State may decide to sponsor some kind of insurrection. But you must accommodate that, because there's an Igbo proverb that says that the only tree children stone when they are coming back from school is the tree that has fruits. No child will come back from school and go and stone palm tree. But if there's an orange or pear or any of them around it, they will stone that. So we are conscious of these facts. And we know we are united. We also know the possibility of people being used to see if they can cause any disaffection within Labour Party. We know also that some people have already been contracted and they are working with that agenda. So we'll always accommodate them. The point is that we have always told them, you cannot stop a moving train. You cannot stop the wish of the people from manifesting. The example you used about Ondo is entirely different. The scenario is entirely different from Anambra State. I will also ask you a simple question. How much percentage of vote did Labour get in the presidential election in Ondo State?
Well, I know you have the numbers, but now I'm not the one contesting for governorship in Anambra. You're the one on the ballot. My job is simple, to ask you the questions on behalf of the Anambra people. I wish you the very best. George Moghalu is the Labour Party governorship candidate in Anambra State. So you're going to slug it out with everyone else. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. That's it on the program. Thank you for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.